Peace family, how you all doing? My name is Keisha. I am the owner of A Way of Life, and I am your astrology coach. Today, I'm going to be discussing the October astrology because it is officially eclipse season. We have the Scorpio eclipse happening at the end of the month. And then on November 8th, we'll have the Taurus eclipse. And so the beginning of this month is going to start off completely dope. You'll have all the benefits of Venus to work on and initiate and manifest in that new moon and Libra energy. Family, please, 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 please take advantage, because once that Aries full moon comes in, um, yeah, Aries ain't about to be playing no games. It's time to destroy and rebuild. And so Aries fixing to get busy, and it's a full moon at that. And the ruling planet of Aries will be going retrograde. So at the end of the month, along with all this information, so I feel like this is a time to wrap up negotiations, discussions, where you stand, finalize them, and then that's it. Shut it down, cut it off. Aries and full moon, close that cycle completely, because then you have more of the past things coming up. Typically with eclipses, I tend to think of them as times of fate, fated events and things that happen that are going to be completely out of your control, whether you want it or not. It's coming, right? It's your job to be aware, to be ready, to be focused, which is why we do these videos, so that you can at least know, well, whatever side you're on. First of all, it's not the end all be all. There'll be other opportunities, right? And second of all, just knowing your mental faculties and why things are happening, if they're not working out, it's like, okay, boom, then I know what I got to work through moving forward. So let's jump into this thing, family, and see what we got going on here. Now, it's very important for me to mention that these things are also being broken down every week when I do the weekly astrology. And if you want your personal weekly astrology sent to you in relation to your chart, you can become a Patreon member by clicking the button up here. I don't know what side it's on, either one of these sides up on the top of the YouTube channel thing. To become a Patreon for just $5 a month, where you also have all the eclipses, horoscopes, they're already in there. And if you want to just get a reading, because it's eclipse season, so this is a really good time to get life path readings. This is my specialty. This is what I do the most, to see kind of where your life path is leading you. What steps do you need to take? Are you on the right track? Are there some things that you can do differently? Small things of that nature. You'll get all that kind of information in your life path reading. Yeah, I feel like there's always so much that I can say about that, so I'm just going to shut it down. All my information is in the description box below. Please like, share, and subscribe, and hit the notifications bell. And also, if you're not following me on IG, I think this is a good time to do so, because with all these transits that I'm going to be talking about briefly here, just to give everybody like a little update, I'll be going in deeper each and every time this transit is active, in more detail on IG. So we will start with Venus that enters Libra on September 29th, which is 26 or 17, 29, 3 days from now. And it'll be in Libra until October 23rd. And Libra will oppose Jupiter and Aries right at the beginning of the month. This is big expressions of love, big opportunities for relationships, specifically at a distance whenever you're talking about Jupiter, but also this is marriage. Jupiter is your husband in your astrological chart. So because it's from a distance or it's that Jupiter energy, this could be people from a distance either coming closer, coming together, or you receiving gifts and things or opportunities and things from people of other cultures that are foreign from you, or again, actually foreigners, foreign people from other countries, and things of that nature, and just growth in general. This is very optimistic, friendly, outgoing, upbeat energy. Maybe you're going on a vacation, right? Because it does rule travel. Um, um, or you could be starting some kind of educational program or doing something around spiritual courses or philosophy, morals, and ethics. You know, you're assessing your beliefs and worldview here is being changed in some way. And so, really, just a great opportunity for growth. This is even universal law for people who are in the esoteric. So if you have like a YouTube page or you're a spiritualist or, you know, I mean, I can only imagine how many different storylines, especially for the mundane astrologers and the financial astrologers. They probably already have these videos out. In reference to all the different ways that this energy could be showing up. So if you have some kind of knowledge or wisdom that you'd like to share, this is broadcasting, whether you got a podcast, a YouTube page, you know, whatever, I think will be really social in that way, to get the word out, to get the message out. Okay. This could even be people being proposed to through some kind of broadcast. Like people leaving comments or social media stuff, or posting like, I just got engaged or getting married or just got married, things of that nature as well. Be careful for overdoing it, overspending, overeating, over relationshiping. Is that even a word? It's important that we keep in mind as we enter into these new cycles, all the lessons that we learn from Jupiter being in Aries, especially seeing as it's still currently in retrograde. It's very important to pay attention to how you're responding, acting, dealing with your Aries area of life, and challenging yourself consistently to be in balance between the two. We will see a lot of themes around balance, connecting, socializing, battle of the sexes, in harmony with Venus. I actually just did maybe I should post that, for the people who've been watching me enough, or if you're on my Facebook page, I just posted a video that I seen with KT, the Arch Degree. He's the decoder, the movie decoder, decoding Woman King, battle of the sexes. They got their agenda ready to infiltrate our brains. So make sure you are challenging yourself to the things that you consume and take in and connect with on a regular basis. Remember, Libra is not just about your connection with a romantic partner, but all relationships, even to people, places, and things. And you really have to make sure that you're vigilant, especially in a time like this where you're creating your fate, your goals and dreams are coming to fruition. Not to say that you can't do it, because I think that's a really big deal here in the 3D realm, is like when you get on the spiritual journey, you get there and you're like, damn, so I can't even watch TV no more. Like, and I think it can be so depressing and disappointing and like, well, what the fuck am I supposed to do? So I can't be ratchet no more. I gotta be like goody two shoes all the time. And I don't think that's entirely true. It's not what you do, it's how you do it, right? And being vigilant, honest about what this thing that you're interacting with is going to bring to you. Is it helping you fulfill your dreams? I think we have to change the language around it. And then also, it's like a challenge to be, unfortunately, I hate to say it because I'm pretty sure this is just another part of what people don't want to change or if are afraid of changing. Because when you upgrade, there's a specific kind of persona that you now have to present to the world that can be really boring, right? But you become an intellectual here, and so you watch the movies, do all the things that you want to do, but then you have leave space for conversations that challenge you to think on the upswing of that. What are you watching that for? What did you learn from that? What did you see? What did I see? And having dialogue about that and just challenging one another or the people that you're with or yourself, whatever, on, what you're consuming because it's programming you. And again, if you are trying to create a dream or build a dream and you're doing something on a level off of somebody else's idea of what woman king means, right? And you're just watching that movie and then watching it and not having healthy conversation, doing some research, challenging yourself to come up with your own process of that. And what do you want to take away from that? Then you leave your mind lame and blame to be taken over. Now you're a sheeple, even if you think that you're not, right? And so you really have to get out of this socialist practice and way of thinking and culture. And it doesn't have to be all the time, but it definitely should be more often than not, because that's the only way you can reprogram your mind. Now, already, I didn't spend a lot of time on that because this shit's going to be really important coming up with these eclipses. But I meant to not. I was like, Keisha, don't you get on here talking all day. Okay, so let me get back into the topic at hand. And Venus will be invisible until Sagittarius season. Now, I have done a video talking about the Venus point star, when Venus is a morning star, and otherwise, I think it was in January. I might have to go back and find that video, maybe repost it. But essentially, just like when the moon goes void, I talk about this every week in my weekly astrology. Whenever any planet can't be seen in the sky, it's unfortunately it's on its lower vibration, right? We are more likely to consume whatever energy in the most lowest form of um of of energy to whatever that energy is. And unfortunately, the lower expressions of Venus is to do exactly what the lower expression of Jupiter is, to overexert, to over relationship, to overgive, to push things under the rug. Venus is Libra. From the Libra aspect, I actually think it's going to be more from the Taurus aspect with the Taurus eclipse coming up. But technically, this is, being submissive, even though most of us, don't really like that word. It's a dirty word. Um, um, but not to, but, allowing people to take advantage of you too, right? And so that's going to be the challenge at this time. But I also think this is good because Venus also being invisible is also in its warrior state. It's more in its opposite energy, which is Mars. or Scorpio. Either way, they are both the same thing, right? Coming from the Taurus side energetically, which is why I think it's more in relation to the eclipses anyways, because Venus from the Taurus aspect is in the North Node. And so again, with Taurus, it's about overeating, overspending, a lack of values in money and savings and budgeting, just being very aloof and unaware of those things, even not caring. And hear me out. I like this being like this with the Scorpio and Taurus eclipses coming up because I can almost guarantee you that those Scorpio and Taurus themes are going to be the heavy hitters to wake people up. Now, it's just going to depend on what end of this spectrum that you're on. Are you aware? Are you the one who's having smaller educated conversations about everything? Because that's just good universal law. That's just, smart. It's intelligent, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? Those are going to be the people who exceed on the higher end of this, and they'll be the ones to benefit the most from Venus and that Taurus energy. But also, I think because it's an eclipse, these are going to be the things that are happening to us outside of us to teach us a lesson, which is always 9 times freaking worse. But you have what I've been talking about with Uranus and Saturn square, if you've been watching me long enough, which are, inflation, a lack of resources. I feel like a lot of people after all the money has gone and not giving out any more money, we had all that money and either you got it, you flipped it and turned it into more money and allowed it to work for you, or now you don't have any of it and you're back to square one. Maybe you're not working, so you got to get a new job, or you got to get a second job, or it's back to business as it was before the pandemic, but you still having the emotional attachments to the freedom and the possibility of what you could have had when you had all that money. And so I don't want people to see this as a bad thing. Really challenge yourself to sit down and write out some plans and start taking some action steps to get back on your feet. You will have that much support from the Taurus eclipse, because that's all of what Taurus is. Anything economics. Learn about your economics. What does that mean for you? What does that mean for your household? How do you want to implement that? And then you watch it and you study it every day until it becomes a habit and it reprograms you. And I think a lot of people are going to start to do that naturally, because we're learning how relationships are hindering us or how they're helping us, right? That's the ultimate energy of this Libra season entirely, to be honest with you. We can also be more generous and more giving in love, big love stories, etc. I talked about all that. Now Mercury retrograde has been about getting feedback or giving feedback from others. This could have been around your freedom, your beliefs, your time, or even if you're open to being in a relationship in general. And so this can actually give you the opportunity to improve relationships more or get some closure on a relationship that long needed to end anyways. And then Mercury goes direct on October 2nd. Period. I think this is so great. Now, just to be clear, anytime you have a planet moving either direct or retrograde, doesn't matter. This is when all the wonky stuff happens, right? This is when you see all the glitches in your laptops, the problems with social media, phone calls dropping. I never received that email, all the things, right, that can go wrong during a Mercury retrograde absolutely will go wrong on October 2nd. And it's going to take time to pick up speed. So we call this a station. So Mercury will station which is coming to a full, complete stop. Remember, this is just like a void or a planet being invisible. You have no support here. Just that is just a portal opening for everything to fucking go wonky. So, and then it'll start to move in that direction, but it won't be fast. It'll pick up speed, and you have until about October 13th with that before it's like back to its strongest. And I can almost guarantee between the 2nd and October 13th, anything from Mercury retrograde all the way back from August, you'll start to get more clarity, more responses, more people coming in, more discussions, more all of the things related to the retrogrades that I've been going over and talking about. And on top of that, this Mercury will oppose Neptune. Now, Neptune has a really bad rep, but it's also an outer planet, just like Uranus and Pluto. I still think because Neptune's retrograde, this is a wake up, as opposed to the lower vibrations of Neptune. But again, it's a generational planet, so it just doesn't affect us the same way personal planets do. So I just want to put that out there and say that out loud. With that being said, Neptune can clear fog your vision. This can be more distractions, more lack of clarity, more lack of direction, more not feeling certain, more sleepiness. It can even make you feel like a lack of energy. But again, I feel like you're going to get more clarity, to be honest, around gossip. Anybody that, might not have the best interests in you, people showing up with a mask on, I think it's mask off time. And you're getting more clear on all the things again since the end of August. And I think this is going to come through even stronger when Saturn goes direct and trines Mars on October 23rd. Okay, and then Mercury will trine Pluto. This is getting your health in order, getting your life in order before you try to connect with others. If you are having relationship troubles, it's probably because you're not in alignment with yourself. I feel like I've been having these conversations a lot, and I'm trying not to like over talk about it. But I feel like because America is opposite, I call America Opposite Day. I feel like it's a necessary conversation to have because all the information that we have about our lives and what we do right now, we can all see or take as factual because we think that we are in control of our lives. But if you are in lack and you are okay with that, if you're okay with being stagnant, if you're okay with being single, if you think that it's okay to be by yourself, and alone and you don't need anybody and this kind of energy here, you have to know that that is not of love and from the heart, right? Something's got to be in your heart deeper down where it's like, damn, I deserve to be in a relationship. I deserve to have people who care about me, etc., etc., etc. And I think there's going to be a mass awakening of these kind of ideas and ideologies once the Saturn, Uranus, and eclipse energy comes in, because it's going to be like, now you don't have anything. Things are being taken away from you for lack of resources, and people can be resources for you, right? The people that you connect to, it's going to be like, it's going to feel like, damn, who do I remember, okay, I'm going to tell a story. I remember at the end of 2020 when I got COVID, I talked about this. I think I had a really big show I did on YouTube with oh my God, she'd be so mad at me if she knew I forgot her name. Sophie from London. And we had this discussion about everything that kind of had happened with COVID. And it was crazy because I live by myself with my son and I couldn't fucking move. It was a wrap for me. And all I can remember is reflecting on how my son just kept coming in the room asking me to get him something to eat. And I couldn't do that. I could not get up enough to feed my child. And I was out for a good week and some change. And even after that, it took me a really long time to get back to my normal self, right? And I told my son, I was like, I am sick as a dog. Like, you're going to have to take whatever you can grab and whatever you can eat, because there was nothing that I could do for him, even if I was in good health and nothing was wrong, but I could get around, but I had some mishaps in my life. I couldn't even pick up the phone to call anybody because I don't talk to my family. I don't associate with them. Um, you know, and on the other end of that, I don't like to, right? I don't like asking for help. That changed my perception after I went through that. Now, um, it is very important who you're getting help from. You need to make sure and vet people, to make sure that they are the right person for you. They're going to bring you in the right kind of help and whatever aligns with your purpose in life, et cetera, et cetera. Right. But I think we are overemphasizing on that process, so much so that we're more alone than we are. And I think that at some point, these transits are going to start to help us recognize that the more lack of resources that we have, finances that we have. I mean, this country is in debt, and I think all those problems and heightened awareness are going to come from the lack of resources that you can get from this country because London Bridge is falling down. And as bad as that might seem, I feel like it's the best thing for us, the best thing that can happen for us, because we need to wake up to that fact. We need to understand why it's more important to have people in your life as opposed to not having people in your life. Because it's like passing over opportunities repeatedly. Every time you dismissed a person, didn't want a person in your life, or whatever, missed out on an opportunity for whatever reason, whatever. I don't care what the reason was. It doesn't matter. It's missing over. You are allowing opportunities to pass you by. You don't know when and where you could have grown. How do you know that you even have what it takes to build the dream that you want if you are not interacting with other people? Good or bad, these are reflections of you to show you how to grow and evolve within the dream that you're trying to build and create. You actually are not doing that if you're not connecting with others. It is a blockage to your success and for you to be your best self. And I just feel like somehow we've missed that point by being too culturally manipulated into thinking that this kind of separation is a healthy thing. Again, I went on another tangent with that. Sorry. I don't even think I'm fully expressing it correctly. That's why I'm talking so much, and it's really pissing me off because we need to have more conversations about this. Pluto goes direct on the 29th, giving you the green light. If you've been doing the work for all the things you've been working on since the beginning of the year, going back to that Capricorn energy, if you've been following me for a while, all of Capricorn was like Where's the upgrade? It's time to upgrade. It's time to do better. Start that business. Don't be afraid. Take that chance. Jump, take the leap of faith. Believe in yourself. Trust in have faith that things are gonna work out. This could have also been more global events. I know there was a lot of political stuff going on, especially, was it Trump? I think it was Trump at the beginning of this year that just um Trump. There's so much I could say about that, but now they're getting ready to lock him up, or they got a case against him. That ought to be interesting. Because Trump is over there telling everybody's business, but there could be a lot more stuff like that coming out. I think we're going to see big governments, how much control they have and how they don't want to give that control up, and how that's really affecting us as well when it comes to our growth, which is just another reason why we need to come together. And then you'll have the full moon on October 9th, which will conjunct Chiron and Aries. Now, I have an entire series on Chiron and Aries. If you want to go check that out, I talked pretty in-depthly about what Chiron is and Aries, as well as all the 12 signs. So if you have a natal Chiron and Aries, you're having a Chiron return. It's important for you to know how this is showing up for you. What wounded healer energy are you trying to heal, get over, and turn into some kind of positive, healthy way of living for you now. If you have Chiron in any other placement, you still want to know how this energy has been playing out for you and what area of life it's in for you, to get more information on that. We can see a lot of themes around women because it's Libra season. And then with Aries and Chiron, it's health. It's about your physical body. Aries rules the physical body, yourself. And it could bring tension in relationships. Again, it's all about growth here. And because we've gotten through so much already, especially for people who have been doing the work, asking the right questions and just seeing where people are at, what they want from you, etc. It's just a continuation of where that's going. Are they going to stay, or is it an official breakup? You get some closure and keep it pushing. I think another theme here is that in order to be in relationships, it takes being aware of our faults, our moods, our shortcomings, and what we need to show up as in a personal relationship, and not taking accountability of those things are going to become really, really clear to people who are trying to evolve and grow right now. I do feel like this could lead to a lot of breakups. There are a lot of breakups that need to happen, right? And then Venus is in opposition to Chiron. Yeah, it's just painful separations. Even if it's not a breakup, again, maybe you can't depend on your family because they're not bringing you in the right resources. They can't do anything for you. So you're going to have to rebuild and find a new family, and then Mars is going to square Neptune. Very passive aggressive, vague frustration. Your energy can feel super low. Be cautious again with the information that you're taking in on all levels, but on a global level, there can be mass manipulation around war in the news because that's what Mars rules. And this could also be things that are happening in your neighborhood, right? Locally, that's going on that they can try to manipulate, but I don't think it's as easy when it's right in your neighborhood because Mars is in Gemini, right? Yeah, I mean, just be careful, right? On the opposite end of that, this could be a lot of miscommunication, misreading things, misunderstandings, no clear communication, things taken out of context when it comes to neighbors, siblings, aunts, uncles, cousins, nieces, nephews, your car. This could definitely be problems and issues with your car. Get a second opinion if there's something wrong with your car. Let this energy pass before you take it somewhere and get money for something that you didn't even need to do. It's just the vision, the focal point right now is not clear. So it's just a matter of, you know, luck of the fucking straw. You get in the car that morning, the bitch doesn't start. Go back in your house for 15 minutes and then come back and try again. This could be like losing your keys or forgetting your keys, forgetting to lock the door, leaving doors open, things of that nature. On a mundane level can be coming up for people. That's, just causing more problems and issues when it comes to relationships. So before you base any of your disagreements off of this energy, again, just take the time to think things through. Give it some time. This is mid-month. I'd say the end of when that Saturn hits, because you're more likely to have more clarity. So Venus trine Saturn, relations get solidified here. Commitments are being made. You can have more conversations about what commitments are going to look like, the expectations, signing contracts and agreements, any kind of legal stuff here. We're also getting in order. Business partnerships are being made. You can get new clients. But you got to be doing something different. You got to get out of your comfort zone in order for you to begin to see these things working in your favor. Oh boy. And then Venus trines Mars on the 18th, more of the same energy, honestly. It's just a movement, right? With Mars being there now, you're adding the ability to actually take action towards everything that I just said. And then Saturn goes direct and Venus becomes visible on the 22nd. Now, just like any other retrograde void energetically, it takes a day or two for Venus. So, even though we'll start to have that support at that time, you probably won't see it until more into Sagittarius season. But don't give up if you're not seeing the things that you want to see. Again, just give things time, think things through before you make any final decisions. This could also be significant changes around money, politics, budgets. All these things are going to be highlighted at this time. Big companies, businesses. Again, I feel like I've talked about this before where the numbers are in. We had the audit with Virgo season, and then Libra season is like the legalities of it. Can we continue to go on? Are we going to sign this contract for another run, or is that it? Are we done? Can we no longer keep this up anymore? Things of that nature. With Virgo, it definitely could have been a lot of nonprofit companies and organizations and money being given to those facilities and programs and resources. My fear is a lot of them won't, or it'll just be one and not many. Also, you got to keep in mind that a lot of those businesses and things that shut down back in the pandemic, people also woke up, like I shared my story just to say, hey, you treated me like shit at a time when I needed you. And now I don't trust you. I don't want to work for you. I don't want to give you my best. And a lot of nonprofits who hired people, gave people jobs, are struggling right now to get and keep employers to do the work needed to be done in order to continue giving out services. And so everybody's moving online now because of that. That's caused this really big movement for a lot of companies to allow people to work from home and go digital, be virtual. Let people work from home, give them a little bit more freedom and more money, or else. And that transition from that to this new, more Saturn and Uranus energy is like, it's also slowing things down. We still can't really see how much we can do or can't do, even if we did have the money to continue giving out resources, because we don't really have all of the things in order. I do think that Saturn going direct is gonna get on people's ass if you have been slacking and trying to stay in this old rugged way of doing things, way of thinking, way of communicating, way of doing business. Saturn going direct is going to be like, So I took a break, and this is what y'all decided to do with your time? Oh, okay. Okay. And it's right, like on the heels of an eclipse. I'm trying to warn y'all. I know that maybe I'm not using all the right words, but I hope you get this when I tell you, if you think that you can do this on your own, Saturn finna be like, wake the fuck up, bitch. I'm sorry. That wasn't nice. That's just Saturn. It's like Big Daddy's home now. Get up and do your job the way you know you're supposed to. Get on the good foot. It's time to get organized. It's time to take this stuff more seriously. People are going to have more serious expectations about all relationships, all the Venus ruled things and everything that I just been talking about. And I just don't see this being a pretty sight. But I do think we're going to get it together because we have to. This can be things of crisis provoking, shortages, supply chain issues, internet issues, again, resources, food, money, and it's going to move into more financial instability the more we move through these Scorpio eclipses planets. We're in Libra. Up next is Scorpio. So all the planets that are currently going to move through Libra going to find their way through Scorpio, and we'll have to keep trickling down and getting more pieces of the story every time a planet moves into that Scorpio energy. It's not going to be pleasant. But it's not about fair. I got to keep reminding myself to not stop talking like that, especially when Venus enters Scorpio and then the sun enters Scorpio on the 23rd. That's it. That's it. That's your marker right there. And that's forever going to be remembered in the sky as a point of Saturn waking up on all those Venus themes that we was just playing nicey with. And now it's going to be like, get serious. Go inward and do the soul searching. What are your desires? How can you change them? What else do you need to program? This is dumb intensity. Like, it's going to feel like your world is crumbling down, coming on the heels of a fucking Scorpio eclipse. You're going to feel like you just had everything. And then Scorpio came and it's like, oh, fuck. And you got to show up. The fixed signs. This is a fixed sign square, so the fixed signs are going to feel this the most. Scorpio, Scorpio, Scorpio. Eclipses are about releasing and letting go of something. So it's like spend the beginning of the month really assessing what you desire so that you can get it. And then Scorpio is going to come in and say everything else has got to go. And let me be clear that some of those things might be what you're desiring if it's not on the right level. And so if you're shocked at something like, oh, I had an experience, you guys, let me just tell y'all, I can't make this shit up. I really feel like this has a lot to do with wealth, how we think about it, money, how we think about it. What does it mean to us? What does it mean to be wealthy? What does it mean to have money? That these ideas are going to change drastically over the next few years or so, but it's starting now. But it's starting in chaos and crisis because that's the only way. This is the only way to get to these realizations because it's opposite day here in America. It's hard if you're not constantly challenging yourself to think about the beliefs that you have right now. 90% of this world is controlled by these people. You have to realistically believe that at least 90% of what you think is from these people, meaning it's opposite from what you actually should be doing. The only darkness you need to be in to be alone in the way that we do, on the magnitude that we do, is to get skills, tools on how to deal with this. Scorpio rules psychology and all the divinations. These are all your spiritual practices. What do you do to stay in alignment even in times of turmoil? Are you reacting, or do you already have something else planned and set up to survive and still move in some way, shape, or form without it disturbing your peace? It starts with the mindset, a belief, a culture that you hold dear to and you don't let nobody alter. And then it's about being able to still work in the everyday world without feeling like, even though it's a conspiracy, it's all a conspiracy. But you're still here in the 3D. You have to follow and or abide by what is happening so that you can continue to build on that in this world, right? And I think that's the big secret. It's not really about hiding and not doing or avoiding and not working with the energies just because it's not of you or it's not on that higher vibration and level. You still have to find ways to work within these things on a higher vibration. And practice makes perfect. If you're not dealing with them, you are not practicing. You don't gain confidence that way. You don't gain skills that way. There is absolutely no way to know how to fix it if you are not dealing with it. If you are avoiding it, these things are not the same. However, that loneliness, that time alone, that time of darkness is about building those things, but you have to do them both coincidingly at some point. Like I said, I think we're overdoing the loneliness and the self-work to the point where we're not moving when we think that we are, just because we're not involved with it. You know what I'm saying? Ah, let me just shut it up. I think we can see interest rates going up, inflation going up. People are going to be asking, how many times am I going to keep getting interrupted in my dreams and building my goals, and then finally give up on reacting to things and really sitting down and saying, what do I have to do to be more financially stable? And that, my friends, is how the cookie crumbles. you know, and unfortunately, this is going to come up in a lot of fear-based responses with Mercury square Pluto. You know, I think we're going to fight this because we really think that we're in the right. You need to read more. You need to learn from others more. You need to interact with the right people more. If you are consistently thinking with the same brain that told you it was okay to sit in darkness and not connect and not build with people because it's safer that way, and you're still trying to build and grow off of that same mind, I assure you, you are not building with the right bricks. They're going to fall. And at some point, you're going to come to the realization, like, I have to be doing something wrong because I know I'm good, right? I know that I'm worth what it is I'm trying to build. I don't bother nobody. I'm a nice person. I respect people. You know, it's going to get real, real. And why is it still not working? Well, there's everything that I've been saying. And then you also got to consider your health. And health is going to be a big theme. And the other piece, which is getting back in the fray of things, but being able to use your tools when you're there. So, you know, and don't think of every time something goes wrong or you get into a miscommunication that you would have rather avoided. If I was at home, minding my business, not trying to be friends with nobody, this shit would have worked out. I wouldn't be going through this. That's okay. You're going to go through some shit. I'm telling you right now, you're going to experience shit. But instead of thinking of it like shit, be like, okay, why the fuck did that just happen? What do we do about that? How are we going to fix that so that it doesn't, or that happens less, or that I could just understand it better, right? It doesn't even have to be about fixing or resolving it. You are finding tools that are going to help you get through things when things don't go the way you planned. And that's real freedom. That's where the real freedom is. And until we learn that and accept that and live within that reality, now we're growing. There's growth happening. You know, there's movement happening. And even when it isn't, it's going to still be movement because you know better now. You have a different perspective. The only way you're going to be able to do that is you got to talk to other educated people. All right, and then Mars goes retrograde, which intensifies all of this, really, in the worst way on the heels of a freaking eclipse. But necessary, you know, it's just necessary. You know, I hope that I'm not fucking freaking people out or I'm not completely over talking to the point where it's like, Keisha, what are you saying? Make it make sense. I hope that it makes sense. You're getting something from this. Even if it's not, don't matter. You might not hear a goddamn word that I say, but you're gonna get it. Trust me, because that's what all these eclipses are about. It's about moving you out of your own way, by any means necessary. And even though we'll be super happy that we get out of Scorpio eclipse in the fucking South Node, out of all places, Scorpio gotta be in the South Node. And we're like, yes, this is the last of it. We're wrapping up this energy. Because it's going to be in Mars next year, and Mars is the ancient ruler of Scorpio, and it's going to be in the North Node this time. So these planets, this energy, this universe ain't playing with y'all. It's going to get you to where you need to be by the end of it all. Trust and believe, by any means necessary. It's going to fight to make you the best you that you can be. And so, you know, I could live with that. I could totally live with that. I love to fuck up for y'all. I really do. Again, I hope you're finding this information helpful. Peace.